jagire. Vifale sevino vipana dora jana. Vifale sevino vipana dora jana. Tapala sukalava lagire. Tapala sukalava lagire. Vidana yogana uchapari jana eteke achepara titire. Vidana yogana uchapari jana eteke achepara titire. Kamala jala jala divana talamala. Kamala jala jala divana talamala. Bajaho hari pada nitire. Bajaho hari pada nitire. Javana kirtana marana vandana parasevana jasere. Javana kirtana marana vandana parasevana jasere. Bhojana Saki Jana Atma Nivedana. Bhojana Saki Jana Atma Nivedana. Govinda Tatavi Lakshmi. Govinda Tatavi Lakshmi. Translation. We have a translation?
Hare Krishna. ಯಾರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಬೇಕೋ ರೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಪ್ರಭುಪಾದ ಹತ್ರ ರಥಯಾತ್ರಾ ಪ್ರಭು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. ಯಾರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅನುವಾದ ಬೇಕೋ ನನ್ನ ರೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಬಲಗಡೆ ರಥಯಾತ್ರಾ ಪ್ರಭು ಕೂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. ಪ್ರಭು ಮಹಾರಾಜ್ ಹೇಳೋದನ್ನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಅನುವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಭುಪಾದ ಹತ್ರ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ.
Where's the translation to the bhajan?
I think they would have put it. It's a common language.
What?
They would have followed your bhajan.
I don't believe it. It's Bengali, right?
Yeah, they would. Because everybody is having one's like.
Well, I want to hear it in English. I'd like to hear this bhajan in English, the translation. What's the problem? You have the song we said just sang, Bhajavade Mana. I would like translated for my benefit in English. Can somebody speak in English and translate it?
O mind, just worship the lotus feet of son of Nanda, which make one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons.
Okay, so one point, very clear. Everybody's in anxiety, but here, the poet Govindadas is saying, all you have to do is worship the son of Nanda. You know who the son of Nanda is, right? Worship the son of Nanda and you can be free from anxiety. You don't have to go to a psychiatrist and pay hundreds of dollars. You don't have to go to a psychiatrist.
Both in the day and at night I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For the fraction of flickering happiness I have uselessly served wicked and
Miserly.
miserly men.
Thank you. That's good. Next.
After assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons and family members. This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari.
Go ahead.
It is the desire and great longing of Govindadasa to engage himself in the 9 processes of bhakti, namely, hearing the glories of the Lord, Hari, and chanting those glories, constantly remaining him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense and so forth, serving him as a friend and completely offering the Lord one's very self.
Srila Prabhupada, he liked this bhajan because he said, in this bhajan both things are there. There's a preaching, we're pointing out the material world is trouble. And then he's saying, here's the alternative, Shravanam Kirtana Vishnu. You can, if you take up this process of Bhakti Yoga, you can be relieved of that trouble. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivardhari, Jaya Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivardhari, Jaya Girivardhari. Yasoda Nandana, Jaya Vrajajana Ranjana, Jaya Vrajajana Ranjana. Yasoda Nandana, Jaya Vrajajana Ranjana, Jaya Vrajajana Ranjana. Yasoda Nandana, Jaya Vrajajana Ranjana, Jaya Vrajajana Ranjana. Jaya Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Indravihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Indravihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Indra Vihari Om Jnana Timirandasya Janagana Salakaya Shri Chaitanya Manubhistam Tapitam Jena Bhutale Raya Mupa Kadamaya Elatisra Padantikam Vandehom Shri Guru Shri Yata Varakamalam Shri Rupam Shri Datam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Analalita Shri Vishaka Visham Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Hare Vrindavaneshwari Vishwanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Taruvascha Vipasindu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Chapter 12. I'll just do a quick reading of the translation for number 5. This is the previous verse. Then we're going to speak on 6 and 7. Translation to text 5. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. So here, Krishna is very clearly saying that this impersonal meditation is not easy. It's very difficult. Because we have bodies and we have form, and so we'll be more attracted to our wife than to the impersonal, because a wife has form. A wife has qualities. But impersonal, there's nothing, right? They give the example of a bubble. If you break it, it becomes one with the ocean. But they don't take into account that in the ocean there are aquatics and so on. So Krishna is offering us the highest conception is spiritual activities. Spiritual activities, not impersonal, but not unmanifested. But you have to have eyes to see. In the spiritual world, Krishna is not impersonal. He's dancing with the gopis. He's playing with the cowherd boys. He's a person. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. So let's read the next verse, which you can say illustrates that. Okay. Should we do the Sanskrit? I'm not so good in Sanskrit. I'll just do it myself and then we'll have a translation. Mai sanyasya mat para ananye naiva yogina mam dayayanta upashate teshamaham samudharta mritum samsara sagarat bhavani na chirat parta maya veshita chetasa. Translation. So now this is a follow-up from the last verse. But, he's saying, but those who worship me, Krishna is saying, giving up all their activities unto me, as a person, Krishna is a me. This is a personal pronoun, me. Being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Prita. For them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So it's very clear. Why take a troublesome path? These people are advertising. Vivekananda and these people, you become one with everything. I went to one class like that. The yogi was teaching us. Be still and know that you are God. And I thought, wow, I never thought I was God. But maybe I should try it. Because I was a rascal. You can't become God. God is already God. He's the creator. He clearly says in the Gita, Brahma Samhita, Srimad Bhagavatam, that he is the original person, cause of all causes, sarva karna karna. Otherwise, what caused everything to happen? The atheists will say, oh, there was a big bang. And then everything started coming together. There was lightning flashed. But that's, we say no. Life comes from life. It's more reasonable. The parents are alive, therefore they create a child who's alive. How are you going to get? Just a proper challenge them. If you take a white chemical and a yellow chemical, you mix it together and an egg will come out and a chicken will come out. No. It's not so easy that you're going to create life out of matter because it can't be done, really. Have the scientists done that? Created life out of matter? No. We say life comes from life. Krishna is the original source of everything, material and spiritual. So again, in this verse, Krishna is saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times he's saying, to me, surrender to me, engage your service in my devotional, or in devotional service. And devotional service, it means 2, now actually 3. There's the master, what is that? You're celebrating? What are we celebrating? Is it a holiday or something? We're celebrating that we're alive? Okay, so devotee and the devotional service. So there's 3, not 0. They say everything is 1, or everything is 0. No, that's foolish. You're not me, and I'm not you. This is the first verse where Krishna instructs in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 12. He says, you and I and all these kings who are assembled on the Bhagavad, we've always existed in the past as individuals. Now we're individuals. In the future we'll also be individuals. It's very reasonable. How are we going to merge into each other? No, that will be, because we have some qualities as a person. Some of them are very, you can say, praiseworthy qualities, like compassion. Compassion is a personal quality. So what do they say? That God is impersonal. Even the Muslims accept that God is a person of some kind. They say he's the compassionate one. But I preach to them, they don't like it when you say that God has a form. Because they think, no, if you give him a form, that means you're bringing him down to the human level. But it's not a human level. We say, man is made in the image of God. Christians also say. But Muslims don't like to talk about that. In my experience. I sometimes meet them on the street or in the market and so on. So that's a problem for them. If God is all great, God is all knowing, then why not? worship him. They don't like that we have a murti of Srila Prabhupada or a form of Radha and Krishna. But that form is not imagination, it's not an idol. It's made out of the description in the bona fide Shastra. This is Krishna. He looks like this, medium height, playing a flute. So we're not idol worship. These are descriptions given by the people who have seen God. And they're telling us, this is what God looks like. So how many people don't know English here? You can't raise your hand because you don't know the question. Everybody knows English, right? A few people. If you don't know English, maybe you can sit in a group with it. Oh, they're doing that. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay, so this is a very wonderful verse. I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Purport. It is explicitly stated here that the devotee is very fortunate to be delivered very soon from material existence by the Lord. In pure devotional service, one comes to the realization that God is great and that the individual soul is subordinate to Him. His duty is to render service to the Lord. And if he does not render service to the Lord, he will render service to Maya. So our constitutional position is to serve. We're dependent. There are two eternals, Nicho, Nichanam, Chaitanam, Chaitanananam. Two eternals. We're eternal, God is eternal. But God is independent, we're dependent. Just like here, we're sitting in a room discussing philosophy. But if there's no supply of air, what is our position? So we're dependent on the air, we're dependent on the food, we're dependent on the sunlight and the sun. So we should accept our dependent position and take shelter of the independent. That's Krishna. He's independent. He can do whatever he likes. Sometimes people chastise that. Oh, you Hindus, you believe that God is dancing with the others' wives in the middle of the night. You've heard that criticism? He does. The gopis are even married by conventional sense, but when he plays the flute, they leave everything, even their babies, and they run to Krishna in the forest. So that seems very immoral. From a human point of view, it may be immoral, but from a spiritual point of view, it's the highest rasa, the gopis. Well, how is it so high? Because Krishna is actually, he's Param Purush. He's everyone's husband. And we're Prakriti. We're meant to serve the Lord. This conception is there. That God is great, we're small, so our duty is to serve Him. And even in the sense of male and female. The living entity is considered female, Prakriti. And the Purusha is Krishna. So if we allow Krishna to enjoy us, like the gopis did, even they were the unmarried gopis, they were performing a vow to get Krishna as a husband. So after they came, they were bathing in the water, and Krishna came there, and he took their clothing. So they were naked in the water. This is pretty debauchery, right? But then they came out of the water because they were getting cold. Krishna, why are you doing this? Give her our clothes back. And Krishna said, first come out and fold your hands. He wanted to see their whole body. It's like a husband can see the body of his wife. So people will think it's, even Bhaktivinoda had trouble with this concept when he was first coming. But this is the philosophy. God is the Purusha, we're Prakriti. If we allow God to enjoy us, there's nothing wrong there. So the gopis are giving the greatest pleasure to the Lord. And of all the gopis, Radharani is the best. Yeah. I was in the car with Srila Prabhupada when he once said that. He said, Radharani is the best devotee of Krishna, is what he said. He said, but Madhya Soda is also a very good devotee. So these are our role models. We want to follow in the footsteps of the gopis in Vrindavan. Das, das, anudas. servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis who are serving Krishna in Vrindavan. We consider that's our identity, Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Servant of the servant of the servant. And Prabhupada had that mood. Like when he came to America, he wrote that wonderful poetry about being a puppet. And he was asking Krishna, you're the puppet master, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. And so Prabhupada did. He danced like anything all over the world. 12 times he circled the globe and established this movement. Because Krishna was behind him. He said, the only success I have, I took the order of my spiritual master as my life and soul. So two, Guru and Gauranga. We have Guru and Krishna. Both are authorities. Okay, it's a long purport, so I want to go through the whole thing. So either we serve Krishna or we serve Maya. By constitution, we have to serve. Just like the hand. The hand, if it serves the body nicely, it gets all the nourishment it wants. But if it thinks, no, I'm tired of serving the body, I'm going to eat the food directly. But it's not equipped to taste the food or to digest the food. So this for his own interest. He cooperates with the whole body. Similarly, Krishna is the whole and we're the part. If we cooperate with Krishna, then we'll be happy. But if we imitate in Krishna thinking we can be the supreme, that's the Maya, false ego. All our children are born with that Maya. Have you noticed? The children are always ready to put something in their mouth, and they don't care if they, on the plane, they don't care if they disturb 100 people. They'll scream and cry. So we're coming from that side, from the false ego side. So Prabhupada is smashing us on that point. And sometimes he really did smash. Me especially, because I was kind of pushing. I was a little older. I had been in the Navy. I had been in graduating from the university. I was just graduating when I met the devotee. And I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. You know, I was like determined to. But otherwise, I thought, if it doesn't work, I'll give it a 1-year try. If it doesn't work, I'll get married and get a job and be a regular person. But I'm still here. Because Krishna reciprocates. You get a higher taste. Something better than sex life. Is it possible? Sex life is the highest pleasure, that's no doubt. But this is something better that if you can experience, then you can give up this sex life. As stated before, the Supreme Lord can be appreciated only by devotional service. Therefore, one should be fully devoted. One should fix his mind fully on Krishna in order to achieve him. One should work only for Krishna. It does not matter what kind of work one engages in, but that work should be done only for Krishna. That is the standard of devotional service. This is for me, drinking water. I don't like plastic. Don't we have a steel cup? His life mission is to please Krishna, and he can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction, just as Arjuna did in the battle of Kurukshetra. The process is very simple. One devotes himself in his occupation and engages in the same time in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Such transcendental chanting attracts the devotee to the personality of Godhead. So that's interesting. It attracts us to Krishna. Why? Because Krishna's name is not different in him, and Krishna is all attractive. So when we, like Rupa Goswami, he's praying for thousands of tongues to vibrate these two syllables, Krishna. He gets such a taste for it. Haridas Thakur, he can't stop chanting because they get a higher taste. It's so relishable. So in the beginning, we have to do a little out of duty. 16 rounds, we want to get initiated. So that's a little, in the beginning, it may seem a little difficult, but gradually it becomes easier and easier. I can honestly say, if I don't chant 16 rounds, I feel something's missing. So it's not like a duty, it's something that I like to do. Okay. The Supreme Lord herein promises that without delay, He will deliver a pure devotee, thus engaged from the ocean of material existence. Krishna is promising. Kunteyai pratijanani nambe bhakti pranasiti. My devotee will never be vanquished. If we just remain a devotee, there may be trials and tribulations. The Pandavas had to see so much problem. But because they persevered in their devotion, at the end, they went back to Krishna. So this can be our future. Just remain fixed at Prabhupada's lotus feet, fixed in Iskcon society. Don't go to these Rik people starting their own society. It's bogus. This whole Rik idea is bogus because it's tampering with parampara. Parampara, Krishna came to re-establish parampara. But these rascals are saying, oh no, now Prabhupada came to stop parampara. What is that? Because of Prabhupada's unique position. He does have a unique position. He's empowered, Shaktavesh. He's a powered living entity, and he did wonderful work, but he's not God. Dharma tu shakshat bhagavat pranita. Only God can make religious principles. And parampara system is a religious principle. So who are they to say that we can change this? Prabhupada wouldn't change it. Just like I was there in 1970, some leading sannyasi started to claim Prabhupada was God. In the Adi Puranam it says, the Acharya is my very self. So they twisted that and pushed it in, and they were forcing us to accept that Prabhupada is God. I was in the assembly, I said, what about that little blue boy? Because I massaged Srila Prabhupada. I know his body was wrinkled and, he was aging. He wasn't eternal. What is Krishna? Navayovanacha. He's always eternally youthful. He never gets old. He never has bald head or gray hair. So how come Prabhupada had a bald head and gray hair? Because he's not God. So anyway, when Prabhupada found out that they were preaching like that, he told them they can travel and preach to get rectified, but they can't stay at any of my centers. He threw them out of his society. He didn't want them to visit any center in Iskcon until they got rectified of this. So he took it very seriously. It's a big offense. Just like this Sai Baba or somebody, they're claiming they're God. So what is that? This means they're bogus. Thank you. Okay. Those who are advanced in yoga practice can willfully transfer the soul to whatever planet they like by the yoga process, and others take the opportunity in various ways. But as far as the devotee is concerned, it is clearly stated here that the Lord Himself takes him. The devotee does not need to wait to become very experienced in order to transfer himself to the spiritual sky. So again, we're picked up by the Lord. Just like if you're in a boat in the ocean, you fall over. Even if you're a good swimmer, it's very dangerous. How can you swim to the shore? The ocean is thousands of miles from the shore in some places. So, but you can get delivered if somebody comes in a helicopter and drops a rope and it pulls you out. So that's the idea. Guru and Krishna are coming and they're giving us. All we have to do is hold on to it and we can be taken out. But unfortunately, many people, even after hearing about Krishna, they don't become serious. And they remain in this ocean of birth and death. So that's up to us. Nobody can force us. If we don't want to surrender to Krishna, we can remain serving Maya. Nobody's going to force us. But if you're a little intelligent, you'll see that serving Maya, it just brings you trouble. This material world, nobody can avoid the trouble. 3 kinds of troubles: Adidaivak, Adibautik, Adiatmic, from our own mind and body, from other living entities, mosquitoes coming, from the dog is barking or something, and from the nature, too cold, too hot. So we should understand that Krishna clearly states, Dukalayam ashashvatam. Dukalaya, full of trouble, and temporary. You may say, well, for me it's not full of trouble. I have a good job, I got a good future, I got a big I'm going to get married to this girl. She's really beautiful. You're going to have wonderful... So what do you say, not happy? I'm happy. But it's running through your fingers. You can't hold it. Sweet 16, but bitter 60s. Yeah, you're going to end up saying, what happened to my life? Where are my children if you live that long? So therefore, we should take advantage of this opportunity given by Srila Prabhupada to finish up our business in this material world and go back to Godhead. Okay? Any questions so far? Yeah.
Maharaj, thanks for the wonderful class.
Well, I haven't finished, but go ahead.
Maharaj, Maya is also Krishna's energy.
That's right.
So why should he trouble when we serve him?
No, just we give the example of the police department. The policeman is also the servant of the government, but he arrests you. He's doing that as a service. So Maya is arresting us because we're causing disturbance in the spiritual world, so she polices us to stay. You can't go into the spiritual world. So we want to get free from this illusion that Maya can make us happy. But the Bhagavad Gita is there, right? 7:14, who knows that? Daiviye Sagunamayi, Mama Maya Dharat. My Maya is very difficult to overcome, Krishna is saying. But in the second part of the same shloka, he says, but one who surrenders unto me can easily cross beyond it. So what's stopping you from surrendering to Krishna? Only your own mind, rascal mind. Otherwise, it's very reasonable. God is great, we're small. We should cooperate with his desire. That was Arjuna's dilemma. He was thinking that if he fought, he gave so many reasons. But Krishna said, Kutas, where have these ideas come? They don't speak to one who is Aryan, who knows the progress of life. They're sentimental. You're on the bodily platform. This is what Krishna told Arjuna. You're on the bodily platform. Come off the body platform. Then Arjuna said, okay, I'm ready to surrender to you. And then Bhagavad Gita talks in the second chapter. Then Bhagavad Gita really begins. Okay, let's read here. In the Varaha Purana, this verse appears. The purport of the verse is that a devotee does not need to practice the Sanga Yoga in order to transfer his soul to the spiritual planets. The responsibility is taken by the Supreme Lord himself. He clearly states here that he himself becomes the deliverer. A child is completely cared for by his parents, and thus his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee does not need to endeavor to transfer himself by yoga practice to other planets. Rather, the Supreme Lord, by his great mercy, comes at once, riding on his bird carrier, Garuda, and at once delivers the devotee from material existence. Although a man who has fallen in the ocean may struggle very hard and may be very expert in swimming, but he cannot save himself because the ocean is too vast. But if someone comes and picks him up from the water, then he is easily rescued. Similarly, the Lord picks up the devotee from his material existence. One simply has to practice the easy process of Krishna consciousness and fully engage himself in devotional service. Any intelligent man should always prefer the process of devotional service to all other paths. Okay? Anybody challenging? We're looking for a fight. No, we can fight with our words. And it's not our words. That's the point. It's Krishna's words. Avajanti mam mudha. He says, you're a mudha. What mudha is what? Huh? It's like a stupid person, right? What does actually mudha mean? Fool. Ah, thank you. Yeah. Krishna's straightforward. You're a fool if you think I'm an ordinary person. You're not an ordinary person. But Duryodhana thought he was. Therefore, when they both came, Duryodhana and Arjuna, to get help from Krishna for the upcoming war, Arjuna very wisely sat at Krishna's feet. But Duryodhana stood at his head. And he thought, he's equal to me. He's a prince, I'm a prince. He has some army, I have some army. That's the disease. We think that we're equal to Krishna. No, we always have to accept Krishna is great and we're small. Mama Amsa. Mama Amsa, Krishna said, you are my part, my small part. Mama Amsa Jiva Loke. The Jiva is this part of Krishna. We have a glorious position, we're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss, but we're not God. God is great, we're small. Simple. And we should serve Him. One more, the purport is going on. In the Narayaniya, this is confirmed. The purport of this verse is that one should not engage in a different process of fruitive activity or cultivation of knowledge by the mental speculative process. One who is devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead can attain all the benefits derived from other yogic processes, speculation, rituals, sacrifice, charities, etc. That is the specific benediction of devotional service. Simply by chanting, what is it that we chant? The name of Krishna. Simply by chanting this Maha Mantra, a devotee of the Lord can approach the supreme destination easily and happily. But this destination cannot be approached by any other process of religion. So that seems a little almost fanatical by any other. But the point is, especially in Kali Yuga, nobody is qualified. We're not born in a pure state. You know, previously in Satya Yuga, the child wasn't conceived until the parents underwent the purificatory rites, and they picked an auspicious time, and then they united, and the child was... nobody's doing that in the Kali Yuga. So we're all born Sudra, more or less. So what is our qualification? So we should be humble and accept the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, that He's freely giving this love of God to everybody, even in malechas like me. I'm born in a family of meat eaters. But, you know, the Paka Brahmins, the caste Brahmins, they'll say, oh, I'm not qualified. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are qualified. Because it's not so difficult. All we have to do is represent the message of the Lord. What is that? Why is that difficult? Everybody can do it. Once I was massaging Prabhupada, and well, this was when he was giving a Gita class. He was giving a Gita class, and he, in the evening, and he said how the spiritual master was the representative of Krishna. And I got a little mystical experience at that moment. I was just looking at Prabhupada a few feet from me, and I thought, this person is really a representative of Krishna. He's not an ordinary man. And it made a big impression on me. So next day I was going to do my service to give massage, and I said to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, I very much liked your class last night. And Srila Prabhupada said, oh, what part did you like? Yeah, we could shut up these children a little bit. What part did you like? So that was Prabhupada. He was very personal and exchanging with us. He was ready to talk with us. And he said, I said, the part where you said you were a representative of Krishna. And Prabhupada liked that. He accepted it, that compliment. And then he turned it back. He said, you can also be representative of Krishna. When you say, Krishna said, or Prabhupada said, he used his own name, then you're also representing Krishna. So everybody can become guru. Ladies also. Just talk to people about Krishna. Then you're a guru. You're some kind of guru. That bringing people to Krishna. What's that called? Come on, there's Diksha Guru, Siksha Guru, and the first person who introduces you to Krishna has a name. What is that name? Say it loudly and clearly. I don't think I'll let her learn that. 50 years and I can't remember that word. So anyway, that's the fact. So we all be some kind of guru. Mother especially is guru to the child. So like this, we should broadcast the message, and then we'll be more than a Brahmins. The Brahmins are so proud, but they don't accept Lord Chaitanya. The conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is stated in the 18th chapter. Sarvadharma Pratyaja. Very good, yes. One should give up all other processes of self-realization and simply execute devotional service in Krishna consciousness. That will enable one to reach the highest perfection of life. So these people say, no, you have to be born a Hindu. No. What about Hanuman? He was a monkey, but he became perfect. And Jatayu was a bird, he became. And so many women. Draupadi and Kapila's wife, who was that? Devahuti. She became a perfect devotee. So why, if the women and animals can become devotees, why can't a Sudra like me become a devotee? We can become, but then we lose the Sudra qualities. Because Krishna said, quality and work. In the 18th chapter, he talks about Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishya, and Sudra. And he says two things, quality and work. So I'm doing the work of a Brahmin. Wherever I go, I'm talking about Krishna. So then I can be classified as a Brahmin. On that point, I'm working. And wherever I go, people treat me like I'm a Brahmin. Even more than a Brahmin, right? The reception here was a little embarrassing. I thought they took me this deity, and all that. I was like, my God. We have like 3 temples here in this building. Yeah. So anyway, it's quality and work. I saw Prabhupada chiding one man who was a Brahmin, but he was working in a bank. This is not a Brahmin. Brahmin works as a Brahmin. Okay. Therefore, one should not futilely try to deliver himself in spiritualization. Let everyone take shelter of the supreme, omnipotent Godhead, Krishna. That is the highest perfection of life. Okay, we finished the purport. Srila Prabhupada ki. Any questions or comments? You have to give them a microphone. You shut it off.
Sorry, Prabhuji. I
No
was
question?
waving to my friend.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for a very nice class. So Maharaj, in this purport, devotee is mentioned, this word devotee.
Devotee is?
In this purport, the word devotee is mentioned that Krishna himself delivers the devotee. So what is this devotee like? Because in 7th chapter we see that...
Yeah, devotee means one who loves Krishna more than himself. That's how we give definition of a devotee. A real devotee loves Krishna more than himself. It's not so easy to be a devotee. We don't come as a pure devotees. We have 4 reasons to come, right? Seeking relief from misery, or whatever. What are the 4 reasons?
Artho, distressed. Like if we are distressed or if we are inquisitive.
Because that all has some personal advantage.
Yeah.
But if we come, then gradually we can become pure devotees. We don't come pure devotees immediately, but gradually you can become a pure devotee. And then you're ready to sacrifice for Krishna, even at your own inconvenience, like Srila Prabhupada. Why is an old 70-year-old man coming to a foreign country, no friends, no money, just on the order of his spiritual master? He's going on a boat. He didn't have enough money for a plane. Coming on a boat, seasickness, so many problems. How can he do it? Because he loves his spiritual master. He wanted to please him. There's another story like that. There's a devotee in the beginning, Satsarup. Maharaj, he was a sannyasi then. Or maybe he wasn't. Anyway, Prabhupada would speak into the dictaphone and it would record there. And so at the end of the day, Satsvrup would come and get the recordings and then type them out. He would listen to what Prabhupada was saying and type it out. So we had it in paper form, manuscript, of what Prabhupada was doing all night. He spent hours sometimes. So then Prabhupada saw that he was becoming a little bit mechanical about it. He was coming in the morning, getting the paper, and so Prabhupada stopped him. He said, you should understand, I'm staying up night writing these purposes because I love my spiritual master and he wants me to do it. So we should do everything out of love. In other words, he's saying, you should love me, and that's why you're taking this trouble. It's not just a 9-to-5 job, but it's something done out of love. But in the material world, you don't see that. Who's the mother for the child? Maybe a little bit of love there. But generally, everybody's calculating. What's my advantage? This is the material world, isn't it? You have to be careful you don't get cheated. Okay, so I don't forget what I was saying. Now, any question more?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for giving very nice class. In previous question and answer, you mentioned that we should cooperate what Krishna desire. We should cooperate always what Krishna desire. So how we know that is the desire of Krishna? That is my question.
It's hard for me to understand. Can you tell me?
We should cooperate with Krishna's desire, but how do we know that it's Krishna's desire?
Therefore we have Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. They'll help us know. Yeah, it's easy to not know, to do the wrong thing. So we need to confirm that we're working for the pleasure of the Lord. And therefore, Guru is required. He'll tell you, this is not pleasing to Krishna. This is pleasing to Krishna. Shastra will tell you. And sadhus can also tell you. Just like Lord Jesus, we accept him as like a sadhu. He was there. So what did he say? That's a universal commandment. Love God with your whole heart, your whole soul, and your neighbor as yourself. That's nice. We can take that. We can take good instruction even from a prostitute. If we're lost and we ask her, where's Calcutta? She said, it's this way, then we're being guided by a prostitute. So what? But the truth is there. That's the way Calcutta is. So if anybody can help us, if we are ready to follow, and their advice is good. So Shastra is expert, and Guru and Sadhus. Okay, next.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Who's?
Hare Krishna Guruji. I have a question. As you mentioned earlier, that to go on a spiritual path and to be free from the trouble of Maya, like if you get free from the trouble of Maya, you go on the spiritual path. But if you are in a family life, in Grihastha Jivan, it's very easily that you get bound to this Maya and the troubles surrounded by it. So how can one be in a spiritual path being in a Grihastha Jivan without living that?
Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a Grihastha. He had 10 children. Prabhupada had 5 children. So it's not, it's a little easier, therefore we recommend sannyas. But at the same time, you have duty to you've taken on, you have wife and children. We don't say you should neglect that duty, but you can still be Krishna conscious. Why not? Krishna conscious means you offer your food to Krishna, you have a place in your house, we have a picture of Krishna. Pattaram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhakti pradash. You offer your food to Krishna. And then you become a devotee in any situation, even if you're in a grihastha ashram. Why not? It may be a little more difficult, Because you have that duty. You have to make money. You have to support them. I remember once our Jananivas, he was a very simple person. He was a brahmachari his whole life. I just saw him. He must be close to 80 now. He's still a simple brahmachari. He never wanted to be sannyas or anything. And so he told us that people would ask him, how could you be brahmachari whole life? And he answered by saying, I just wanted to keep my life simple. So you bring a woman into your life, it's not so simple. But it doesn't mean you can't be Krishna conscious. So many examples. Even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, Advaita Acharya was a grihastha. Sitapati. And so like this, we can be Krishna conscious from any position. Okay, next. One more? No. Okay, we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.